Hey, family, welcome back to It's Been a Journey podcast. This is your girl, Chanel, and let me first encourage you no matter where you are, no matter what you are facing, God still has a plan for you. Tonight, I want to give a trigger warning and sensitivity warning because this is going to be some in depth conversation about recovery and triumph through, I cannot say GSW or but if you don't know it, just stay tuned. Sometimes what should have taken us out become the very thing that wakes us up, right? If you're listening today feeling broken, lost, or struggling with pain, physical, emotional, or spiritual, this episode is a reminder that your life has purpose beyond the pain. You're not forgotten, you're not alone, and you're not too far gone for God to turn things around, right? Today, we're shining a light on the epidemic that affects far too many families, gun violence in America. According to the Gun Violence Advocate and Archives, in 2024 alone, there was 43,000 gun-related deaths and more than 80,000 injuries, including homicide, suicide, and accidental shooting. That's an average of 300 people shot every single day in the United States. Behind each statistic is a person, is a family, and a story. This is not just a number, it's a living, right? Breathing crisis touching every community. But even in the middle of tragedy, there are stories of survival and redemption. And today we have one of those stories right here with Mr. Brandon Fisher, 27-year-old young man who has a loving family, survived gunshot wound a little over a year ago. The bullet may have entered his body, but it didn't steal his life or his faith. In fact, it strengthened his commitment to see what God has for him, filling him with thankfulness and a powerful testimony about healing both mentally and physically. As we listen to Mr. Fisher's journey today, we're going to explore not only the physical recovery from gun violence, but also the emotional, mental, and spiritual healing process that follows. This conversation is for anyone who endured trauma, loves someone through it, or simply want to understand and encourage someone else and themselves. Right here, we have Mr. Fisher. Bring him out.
Bring him out. Bring him out. How
Bring
we
him
doing?
out. Bring him
How
out.
we doing?
How you doing? Thank you so much. Look, I forgot my thing.
What?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Brandon, thank you so much
I
for.
appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, let me tell you what. I think I saw him on somebody else. This guy was doing this change your mindset with wording or something like that. It was something, and I saw went through the comments and I saw your comment on there. Then I tagged and I saw a little bit of your journey, and I
hmm
thank you so much for accepting the invitation to
I,
be.
I appreciate the invitation. I think I waited a whole year for this. This is the whole reason. God already had this in plan. He had it in store already. So it was just more so of me getting my mind right and getting right for this whole interview. So and this whole
Right.
podcast.
Right. Thank you.
hmm
Thank you. So before we get into your journey after the trigger, that's what I beyond the trigger. Let
hmm
tell me a little bit about like your career and what you do before everything happened that day.
Okay. So I'm in the IBEW. If you can't tell, I got this right here in the background. This is the Memphis IBEW, basically International Bureau of Electrical Workers. So
Mm,
I'm an electrician. Um, it was crazy because I was only an electrician for about a year and some change before I actually got shot. But I've always since I lived in Batesville like 4 years ago, I've always been working on cars. My granddaddy was a diesel mechanic. He kind of taught me how to work on cars when I was little. And I've always loved the electrical side of things, whether it be wiring up stereos, amps, whatever. So I've always been into that, and I wanted to better my education and better my career. So I ended up joining the IBW, and the IBW is what saved my life. Because I had such good insurance when I got shot, they was able to keep me alive. You
Mm.
know, my journey didn't start when I got shot. It started when they told me, "Hey, you're gonna be on this bag for a year, and you ain't gonna be able to eat nothing for a year." You know, and
Wow.
I still got the scar on my arm of my pick line where I had to be on a machine 12 hours out the day, every day. You know,
Mm.
so
Right.
my situation was a little bit different than your regular colostomy bag, because I had what was known as an ECF, which is an intercutaneous fistula, which is basically your intestine poking out of your abdomen. A doctor didn't
Mm.
put it there. That's the difference. A doctor will put, take part of your intestine and put it to the side, and you'll have a colostomy bag. But mine was due to a gunshot complication, and yeah, it's been a journey. So this is definitely the right podcast to be on.
Right. So take us back to that day. What happened and what was going through your mind as you realized your life had just changed?
So it's crazy. I'm gonna go back to the day it happened and everything. I was in some apartments. I'm not gonna say any names, nothing like that.
Right.
But I was in some apartments, and like I said, I was around the guy that shot me, and around his daddy at the time. And I'm on my phone. I'm just on my phone, looking at my phone at the time, and I hear somebody go, "Give me everything you got," and I look over my phone, and it's him.
Mm.
And I'm just like, I'm laughing at the time because I'm like, bro, you know me, I've been around your family. Like, this isn't just some, you know what I mean? And long story short, I ended up stepping up from the table, and I took about 3 steps back, and that's when he shot me in my stomach. I took off running, he shot me in my chest.
Mm.
Like I said, we was in some apartments, and we was at like a little park inside of the apartments. I ran through somebody's patio door, and the dude was in there. He called the ambulance for me. I remember laying on the ground holding my stomach. Um, I had blood gushing out my stomach. I was coughing up blood, and I remember laying there, and I was just like, "This is it." And I was like, it's over with." I didn't had a good run, but I guess things caught up to me, and it's over with. I remember laying there for at least 30 minutes before the ambulance got there.
Mm.
By the time that they got there, the dude that had shot me had ran off. His daddy was gone. Their little cousin stayed behind, and he actually made sure I was okay and everything. Helped orchestrate some stuff to help me get the help I needed and whatnot, as far as the ambulance ride and everything went. But um, yeah, just going back to that day, it happened like that, and it'll never be an enemy that hurts you. It will always be somebody close or a friend that hurts you. It'll never
Mhm.
be a stranger. That's one thing that I realized. It'll never be a stranger. It'll always be somebody close to you. That ends up hurting you.
So when that happened and you was lying there waiting on the ambulance, what was something that was really going through your mind? I know you said this is it, but what was some of the things that they said life flash?
Yeah, and I'm so true and I'm so honest. Like, I wish I had one of those moments. It wasn't more so of like a light flash or like it was a coming to moment. It was at that moment I knew if God kept me alive, that I had a purpose. I had a stronger purpose. So when I was laying on the ground, the only thing I can remember telling myself was to be relaxed and stay
Mm.
calm. Because in those situations, the faster your heart rate is, the faster you bleed out. So the only thing that I was trying to keep playing back in my brain was how calm can I be? How low can I get my heart rate so that I can survive this? Um, and like I said, that's all that I could think of, and it happened so fast, and the trauma was it messed me up really bad mentally. At
Mm.
first, all this having somebody close try to kill you, um, that messes with your head, but the fact that I got over all that, I'm stronger than whatever's in front of me now.
Right.
Um, But yeah, I wish I could say I had like the coming to Jesus moment or the coming to God moment didn't really happen until I was in the hospital.
Mm,
Um, they did an exploratory laparotomy on me, which is like they basically pull all your insides out.
mm.
They check for damage and everything. I had a collapsed lung for 2 weeks. My diaphragm was messed up by the bullet, as well as my large intestine, my small intestine, my jejunum, my duodenum, my colon, and my colon sigmoid.
So, how many times were you shot?
Twice.
Twice. And it
Mm-hmm.
went through and so did you know the caliber of the weapon?
It's a 9 millimeter, and it
Wow.
was a I forget the head on it, but it's one of those.
Hollow.
Yeah, it wasn't a hot. It's a new bullet. It got rubber in the top of it. And it kind of looks like a hollow point, but it mushrooms, and instead of it like mushrooming out, it sends shrapnel. So that's why I was able to go through as much as it did, and it went diagonally. The second bullet went diagonally, so it went through a whole lot of my intestine.
Wow. So, looking back and we like earlier we were saying how over 43,000, you know, uh epidemic of violence. And I
Right,
know, that was just gun related death, 80,000 injuries.
right.
And, they estimate 300 people, that's a day in the United States. So
Hmm.
when that happened to you, and you say you're an electrician, you going the right route,
For the first time in my life, I was going the right route. Now, I would, everybody's life is different, but the main thing that I can say is that I was trying something different. I was trying to better myself. But you will never see a doctor be around a janitor because it's the he didn't want what I had. He wanted me. He envied me to the point where he wanted me dead. Like he didn't want my money or nothing like that. He just wanted me dead because he couldn't beat me. And I tried to put him up under my wing and say, hey, look, bro, go down here, put your name on the book. I can get you in as an electrician making good money. And he didn't want to do that. And everything happens for a reason, but man, it just gave me so much insight to who to really be around, and who to put yourself around, and a lot of times you will be the product of your environment.
Mm,
um if you're around bull crap enough, that's what you're gonna be.
right.
You can talk a good talk, but at the end it's how you walk.
Mm.
Hmm.
So tell us at the beginning, you was telling us about the bag and everything. So go in depth and let them know like this wasn't just a cakewalk. This like a whole year. You recently
Yeah.
just had your last
I
surgery.
recently just had my last surgery in August the 5th. But I'll get back to that. So basically, I'm gonna put it like this. My faith really changed on October the 16th. I got shot September 19th. Now I was in the hospital all the way until like November something.
Mhm.
I was in there for 2 months before I even got to see the outside. Like so, uh, I was in there. They did everything was going good. They had put a wound vac over my stomach. Um, I was in rehab. I was getting better. They told me I was gonna be able to leave on October the 16th. I was like, okay, things are looking up. Well, they couldn't get the wound vac off of me manually, with me being awake, so they actually had to send me to surgery to get a
Mm,
wound vac off. Which, if you know anything, that's kind of it. It something's going on if they got to send you to surgery to take a wound vac off.
right.
So I wake up from the surgery. They're sticking the NG tube down my throat, and basically, for y'all that don't know, NG tube goes down your throat and it sits in your stomach, and it basically pulls the acid or anything from your stomach, so that your stomach doesn't have to work. When they inserted that NG tube, I knew something was wrong. But I'm laying in the bed, right? This is maybe 10 minutes after surgery, and I got the blanket on me, and all of a sudden I feel something gushing out of my stomach.
Mm,
And I opened the blanket and I already got a hole in my stomach, and there was just bowel just squirting out of my stomach. And I started screaming. I'm like, hey, nurse, nurse. So she comes running over there. She looks up on the blanket. She's just, shaking her head. And I'm like, what's going on? What is this? She was like, you have an ECF. And I'm like, what is that? And she told
Mhm.
me what it was. And I won't ever forget that feeling. I laid in my own bowel for like 4 hours before I got changed. I was so in distraught. I didn't know what was going on. And I was so in distraught and just like, God, what is, what is your plan behind this? Like, if it was my time to go, it just needs to be my time to go. Um, but
Mm,
the doctor ended up coming in the room and he told me, he said, Brandon, he said, we're gonna be able to fix you, but it's gonna take a year. He
mhm,
said it's gonna take a whole year for you to get better, for us to be able to go back in and actually fix you. And I told him, I said, Doc, everything I'm eating is coming straight out of my stomach. He said, I know. And I
mm,
mean, when I tell y'all like straight out of my stomach, pain medicine, like I went a whole year basically in pain because I was disconnected. For y'all that don't know, an ECF, basically I was disconnected, kind of like a colostomy, but it's a little different. Mine was in the middle, and so it was really hard to maintain that bag, you know what I mean? So I was
mm,
on bed rest. I was literally stuck to the house because I would go out and maybe try to buy a Sprite or something, and here it goes, my bag leaking. And, I just, I didn't want to be out in public like that. And
mm,
I won't ever forget, my faith really changed because my days never got better until I started giving it to God. And what I mean by that is, even though I couldn't do much, I still got up and I still pushed myself with the bag on. Because
mm.
one thing about it, and two things for sure, God is with you in everything that you do.
Everything.
But if you don't get up and do it, how is it gonna be there for you? If you just laying back and waiting on something,
Mhm,
I mean, you can't expect God to move like that. Now He might move some things that you can't see that's in front of you, but for the most part, He's with you to move the mountains.
right.
Um, but the main reason that I believe this all happened to me is to change my mindset. It
Mm,
completely changed my perspective on life, my mindset. You know, I grew up. I got a twin sister, and shout out to Brittany Autumn Marie Fisher. That's my twin.
hey,
She,
Brittany.
yeah, that's my twin. Shout out to her. She held me down the whole time. Um, like I said, I was on a machine for a whole year and I couldn't take care of myself because I had so much trauma done to me, and she was there to take care of me and she held everything down. I mean, when I got shot, her boyfriend ended up leaving. My
Mm,
my other sister was down here with her kids, and that ended up going way left. It was just a whole bunch of stuff that hit the wall at once. And she
right.
was able to maintain and hold it all together. And so, I thank her every single day.
Wow.
Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here for real.
Yeah, I was
And
trying to find that fistula so I could post it up so they'll know what it really,
I have some stuff in my, but it's graphic. It's
yeah.
it's it's graphic. Yeah, it's
So,
graphic.
what role did your faith play in your survival and healing? What you say you got up, faith without works is dead, but did you read? Was you
So I got into my Bible. I started getting into my Bible and writing down, just like I would go to random pages, right? And I would just read random verses,
mhm,
things that stood out to me, things that I could perceive and that was going on in my life. And I got this notebook right here. I mean, it's got Bible verses all the way in it.
mhm,
And so every single day I would get up, read my Bible, and I would jot down verses that meant to me, that I felt like applied to my life. And it's so crazy because even though in this time, like I'm disconnected, everything I'm eating is coming out of my body. I'm on a machine 12 hours out of the day. I felt at peace. I
right,
felt at peace because I knew I was gonna get through all this. I knew why all this happened. All this was to change my mindset because it's th- it matters. The youth matters so much as a kid growing up. What's implanted on you is what will be with you the rest of your life. You know,
Right.
so it's so important for us to be able to reach out to the youth and tell them, look, this is not the way you want to go. This is not the route you want to go. I did a year on bed rest. I did a year with no food. This is some real deal stuff that people will be suicidal over and kill themselves over,
Mm.
because they can't see the end.
Mm.
But I had already seen that. I knew I was gonna get past all this,
Right.
and so 3 months later, from my last operation I had on the fifth when they put me back together. By the way, that operation right there hurt so bad.
Mm.
When I woke up on the fifth, from the fifth to the 21st, everything that I ate, I was throwing up. My body stopped making its own blood, so I went anemic. Um, they discharged me on the 14th, and I ended up going back into the hospital on the 17th because I kept throwing up and I couldn't hold any food down. I mean, it would just come right back up. And I went to Baptist East, and I had all my stuff done at Regional One. By the way, shout out to Regional One because they really saved my life. And if you know anything about Memphis or trauma, Regional One is where they're gonna send you. So,
Mm.
they sent me to Baptist East on the 17th, and they said I had an obstruction. So I was like, okay, here we go, something else. But the difference between a trauma hospital and a regular hospital,
Mhm.
I went to a regular hospital and they said I had an obstruction, right?
Right.
So they sent me back to Regional One, and Regional One's like, you don't have an obstruction, you just need to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And, because they see this all the time, they see this every day.
Mhm.
And so that's all it was. I had to go to the bathroom. I started eating. I remember the first thing I was able to hold down was a turkey sandwich.
Mhm.
And that's my favorite thing to eat to this day is a turkey sandwich with some cheese. Something simple, but it humbles me.
Mhm.
Every time I eat that turkey sandwich, it brings me back down to where I need to be, because we can get unhumbled so quick,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
And your family was there, your sister was by your side.
hmm
How was her support keeping you stable?
Her support was keeping me alive because I tell you this, that's my twin. And even though she's a woman, we're twins. So it's like this, and she feels how I feel. And her seeing me go through all that changed her. I went through it, but her watching me having to go through that, and she tells me this all the time. She's like, I wasn't able to help you, and you was hurting, like I wasn't able to help you. And she
Mhm.
was like, that just did something to me. And I was like, Brittany, you did help me. You was there. You was there for me. Because my aunt, which I call her my mom because she raised me. Shout out Chris Fisher. Shout out Neville Thomas. They was both there for me. Um, but having my twin there just felt different. I remember I would always ask for her. I was like, Brittany, I want you here. I need you
Right.
here. But we've been together since we was rocking in the womb together. I mean, you can't split that up. And she really did. It was a bunch of days that I was in here. I stopped doing my machine. It probably was like 4 days going on. I just stopped doing my machine because I was tired. I was tired of living like this.
Right.
And she came in, she was like, I didn't know if I'd get off work, come in here and you'd be dead.
Mm.
And because I would get in those stages, and see, I'm at a place where I can talk about it now, but I want to tell y'all how real this is. The more that you stay in the bed, the more that you feel depressed, the more that you think negatively, the less that you're gonna be able to put out. So the only way to break that curse, I tell people this all the time. I don't care if you're a man or woman, get up and start cleaning. Get up and
Mhm.
just clean, because anything that you clean that's old, like if you got dust on something and you clean, it's gonna make you feel better. So you're gonna have a sense of accomplishment. And I used to not clean houses like that until I was on bed rest for a year. I got
Right.
up, started doing the dishes, just stuff that I didn't even ever used to do, but I was trying to just better myself in any way that I could. Um, but yeah, it was plenty of days that she was my motivation to keep going because she kept telling me, Brandon, your life is gonna be so much better after this, and it has been. It's only been 3 months,
Mm.
but my level of thinking and what I can manifest now is so real. It's on my fingertip, and I want to use this to really reach out to the youth, and I want to tell the youth this, that you don't want to go down that path. It's
Mm,
plenty of things that you can do to better yourself, man, and be there for your family. If you locked up, you can't be there for your family. If you dead, you definitely can't be there for your family.
mm-mm.
You know, so you're gonna end up having to you're gonna have to pick and choose. Like you're gonna have to pick a route, and you're gonna have to stick by it and stand by it. So whatever route you do choose, make sure you're gonna stand on it. But I'm
Right.
telling you, you don't want to go down that path. Like Miss Chanel was saying, it's just too much gun violence going on.
Too
You know,
much.
too
And
much.
by me being a professional barber, and when I lived in Maryland, it was a little different, you know. It wasn't. I could cut
That's up
someone
north,
hair.
right? That's up north.
Yeah, that's east, and
Okay.
I could cut someone hair, and tomorrow is they gone.
Right. Right.
You see, and then
Yup.
it's not just the client. I'm cutting your hair.
Exactly.
Some of them, 5, 6 years, and that happened. That's family. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? Because
And that's another thing. Like this boy don't realize what he did to my family because I stopped bringing in money for a whole year. The government, it takes 230, 40 days to even for them to even review your social security application. So um he don't realize like it goes beyond just getting shot. I can get shot and take that for my shout out. That's my mama right there. Shout out to my mama,
hey,
Tyler
mom,
J.
how you doing?
But yeah, so it take a man to really get through what I went through, and I say that because I still stand on business, but I'm a man of God, and that's gonna be
Right.
known. Um, that he changed my life. Like I said, I never had a coming to Jesus moment because I feel like he was already with me, but over time, he showed me that the only way he can actually do something for you is by you getting up and doing something for yourself.
That's right.
You
So,
know.
to someone that's taking care of family member, whether it's through any acts of violence, what would you tell them, that family member, about their support? Because a lot of people, you can get wore out, they can get tired, but
Mhm. Main thing that I would tell them is to keep doing it because it might be that one time that you don't go in there and check on your family or that you don't say what's on your chest. And it might be that one time where it's really wearing on them and they need to hear that. They need to
mm,
hear it.
they need to
Um,
hear it.
and you don't wanna have no regrets in your lifetime. And you don't wanna be like, man, I wish I could have told so and so this while they were still here, you
Mm,
know. Because literally 1 minute we're here and the next we're gone.
right.
Um, Me and my twin sister have always had it hard. We grew up in a foster family. I never met my daddy. I grew up with a lot of anger. I used to go to a private school. I used to get picked on by kids. um it was just a whole lot going on, and I've always had anger, and I never knew how to channel it, so I started working out. I used to have a workout page and everything on TikTok. I was very into that. That's one of the reasons that I think I'm still here.
Right.
uh because my heart rate, for y'all that don't know, my heart rate was like 180 for about a week and a half. My heart rate was sitting at 180, which is very, very high. I remember them telling me that they was going to come in there and hit me with the paddles to regulate it, but they ended up putting me on some medicine and it ended up going down by itself. But yeah, I had a chest tube. I had a collapsed lung. It went through my diaphragm. For me to been through all the trauma that I've been through and able to be up talking to y'all right now, I mean, if that don't tell you that God's real, then I don't know what will.
I'm telling you,
You know.
that is. So there is someone listening, right? That's
Hmm.
battling their own pain. And I know you told us about the physical pain, right?
Hmm.
What was that mental pain, that you went through? Like that mental anguish? I know it had to be some anger, some not
Oh,
understand.
it was plenty of anger. The worst part about it is mentally crying out and nobody can help you. Literally
Mm,
nobody can help you because you had to let things play its part. And the thing was that I had to learn was patience because I had to hold myself down for a whole year, right? To be able to have this surgery.
mm,
But mentally, what I went through was it was so tough because even me explaining to y'all what I went through, you wouldn't be able to understand it because I can't even understand it and put myself back in my shoes 2 3 months ago where I had my bag on because my brain has literally blocked it,
Mhm.
because mentally it put a strain on me to the point where um I can go back and look at that when I need to humble myself.
Mhm.
But other than that, it still weighs on me.
Yeah. That's
But not being able to cry out and say how you feel, that's a different type of pain. That was worse than the physical pain.
mm,
That was worse than the
that
physical
is.
pain.
So what words of hope or advice would you give someone today? Even the young men, because Um, because you was close to the person that did that to you. And
Hmm.
I know that that's a whole nother level, but Judas betrayed Jesus. Most time, like you said earlier, the person to be close to you that
Hmm.
does it. But let
Yep.
me ask you, did you have any inkling? Did anything in your head, any
I'm
words that you caught right before? I mean,
it
even days or months?
I mean, it was some stuff going on that I could have definitely, like, put two and two together, but me being me, I've always been in situations, but I've never been on this side of the situation. And so one thing I'll tell the youth is go with your gut feeling. When you feel some type of way, if you hanging out with somebody and it feels funny, like they're laughing weird, making weird eye contact, it just feels funny. Go with your gut feeling, go with your intuition. Because if I had listened to my intuition, I wouldn't even went there that day.
Mm.
I
You
wouldn't
always
even.
warning before destruction.
Right, right. And I wouldn't even went there that day had I listened to my intuition. And now I listen to myself, my gut feeling, I go with it. Um, and that's definitely one thing I want to tell the young men. I can definitely speak on the young men is find you a trade or find you something that you can steadily build on. Um, you don't want to be out here, man, depending on a woman. You don't want to be out here having to depend on anybody as a man. You want to be able to depend on yourself. And so I like to do everything myself, whether it goes to changing the lock on the door, to changing a light bulb, to, fixing the tire on the car. I don't want to do that. Um, I don't want anybody else to do that. I want to do that because if you know how to do it, can't nobody tell you how to do it. Um, but definitely go with your gut feeling, and another thing is you can always count your real friends on one hand and you're gonna have fingers left over. You get to even cousins and we let family play a big part in it just because they're family, but just because they're family don't mean that they mean well and they want the best for you. And in fact, like I said, it be family where it be people that are very close to you that are praying on your downfall and they're praying to see you do bad and they're waiting on you to mess up and they laugh at you when you mess up. So, um, just because they're family doesn't mean you can't cut them off. You can cut them off too. If they don't mean well and they ain't for you, and like I said, you get around them and you get a weird feeling, just go ahead and cut them off. God works in mysterious ways. It's for you to find out how he works, but um, through everything that I've been through, the biggest thing that I can say is I go with my gut feeling now. I go with my gut feeling. I will not let my gut feeling override what I think mentally is going on. Just because it looks good or it looks okay, it doesn't mean it's okay. We let our eyes fool us a lot of times. We let our eyes fool us a lot of times. God knows what's going on behind them curtains. So everything that you see, He's already foreseen. So like I said, go with your intuition, find you a trade, get into whether it's electrical work, carpentry work, do something that's gonna always expand your mind. You always be finding new tools to work on, to use, and it's gonna always just add a complex ability to your mindset that you really need as a man. Cause you always want to be able to sharpen iron as a man. If I get around another grown man, I want to have a grown man conversation. If we can't have a grown man conversation, then I don't want to be around you. So if I can't come around you and we come up with an idea, if I can come around you and you help me do this, I'm helping you do that. I don't want to be around you, man. I don't want to be around you. Um, So definitely, iron sharpens iron. Find you a good trade. Listen to your gut intuition. All your friends and your family, be able to count them on one hand and have fingers left over. Because the more people you put inside of your circle, this is your circle. This is your domain. The more people you put inside there, the more you got to worry about, and the less you can control. So, like I said, the less people that you have, the less friends that you have, the more that you can count on. Um, but yeah, you got to keep it 100 with yourself. You got to be 100 with yourself. And another thing, love yourself and show yourself love and grace, because you'll never be able to show anybody else love or grace if you don't show yourself love or grace. I learned to love myself through that whole year of being on bed rest, even though I had to go a whole year with just wiping down with wipes. I couldn't even take a shower, but I still learned to love myself so much in that situation. I think that's what helped me come out way better on this side of things.
Right.
Mm,
That's good. Look, while you was talking, I was just typing "love yourself with grace," and that's a
yeah.
good thing because most times when stuff happen, even whether it's divorce or school or business missed opportunities, we have a tendency to beat ourselves up over the things that we saw and we just shunned it or discounted
Hmm.
as the warning. Mm.
Hmm.
So most
And
of the
that's
time
the
we think,
thing.
why didn't golly, I saw that.
I know. I wish I could go back to that day and just. I just got off work and I had stopped by the Mexican spot with a brother of mine, electrical worker of mine. We was over there and we was eating. And I was like, man, I don't know why I felt I need to stop by there and try to talk some sense into him. I don't know what made me feel like that,
Mm,
but I won't ever forget pulling into them apartments. I'm like, something don't feel right. Just don't feel right. We
mm,
get that feeling a lot, but we play it to the left. But
mhm,
that's why I say go with your gut intuition, and don't be scared to cut family out just because of your family. That don't mean that they want the best for you. And I've said
mhm,
it so many times because people think that you got to have a bond with your family. Now it is certain family members you'll have a bond with, but you've already known that. You've already known who you can be cool with and who you can't be cool with, and
mm.
you know.
Yep.
So that yeah, everything's unfolding. You just had to be there to see it.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
that conversation with someone yesterday, and
Yeah.
we was talking about, the family and how people can be so jealous of what you have that they
Hmm.
will cause detriment to you
To you.
through them
Yeah.
to mess you up. No matter if they look bad, they
Yeah.
just don't like what you have because they couldn't have it.
Right. And I got shot over that. That's what I got
Ooh.
shot over. A type of envy that when somebody wants you dead because they envy you that much, it's more than money. It's got a whole lot to do with money. It's got to do with how I move, with how I talk, with everything. And
Mhm,
so, like I was saying, I went through everything that I went to just to change my perception on life and to change my mindset. You
mhm,
see, now I know that I can get through anything. I know this because God showed me this. He sat me down in the bed for a year and he said, "Yeah, I know it looks bad. Yeah, I know you feel like you're not gonna get through this. Yeah, I know, but you
mhm,
are. You
mhm.
understand me? You are. Just give me
You
some
are.
time. Be patient."
Mm,
So that's what I did. And like I said, I had my last surgery. Everything's been going good. Um, I've been eating regular, using the bathroom. I can't complain. I mean, living how I'm living now compared to how I was 3 or 4 months ago, man, I'm so grateful and thankful. Just
right,
being able to go to that refrigerator and look at what I want to eat, I get to
right,
smiling. I get to smile and I overlook. Ain't nothing in the fridge or the freezer. I done opened up
right.
about 2 or 3 times. But I get to smiling because I won't ever forget what it was like to not be able to eat anything. And to
Mm,
have literally chips. I mean, I'm eating chips is coming out of my stomach. I'm watching all this stuff come out of my stomach. That's traumatizing within itself.
mhm.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah.
When I think about, the gun violence, especially in our race, African American race, it pains me because even when the person, if they don't pass away, they live with so much trauma after trying to get their lives back together from either fear, sometimes they have paranoia. It's so
Hmm.
many things that go with that, pulling that trigger. And
Yeah.
then the person, even the person that did it, see, people don't understand it's trauma on that side too
Oh
because
yeah. Like
they
I
have a
know.
mindset they gonna get it back, or now they giving 30, 40 years,
Yeah. And see,
and you
and
don't know if
then
you're gonna make it even in there.
and when it comes to that, like I know on his side of things, I know he's walking around looking over his back. Like, I know how he feels. I know how he's felt for the past year. Because I was on bed rest for the past year. I know how he felt walking around and stuff. And like when it comes to that situation, I stay in Memphis. Um, I try to put my trust in the justice system, but that's a whole different topic. But what I will say is that man, when it comes down to okay, me getting shot over literally nothing. When it comes to me getting shot over who I am, I'll take that any day out the week because I'm never gonna change who I am. I've always been
Mm,
who I'm gonna be, but I do want to do better for myself. And like I said, I done already been through the worst in the storm. So
mhm,
there's nothing but green grass on the other side. Everything's gonna be easier for me because of what I've been through. But the difference about it, the dude that shot me, he's gonna be living with this the rest of his life.
yeah,
Um, and it's not worth it. He was 19, I'm 20. I just
mm,
turned 28, so he was young. He was a lot younger. Like I said, this was his son. And I used to work with his daddy at a little metal shop, but you know, yeah, man, the remorse he's probably living with, the guilt he probably living with, looking over his shoulder every single day, and he chose that decision. He made that decision. Um And like I said, he's gonna have to stand on that decision. That's why I told the youngsters, like the youth, you got to pick a path. You got to pick and choose. Um, don't go down that path, man. Don't go down that path because I'm telling you, once you get in deep enough, you ain't gonna be able to get out, and you gonna want to get out.
mm,
You gonna want to get out. You can be your own boss and do your own thing, have your own circle, your own family, your own friends, and do it the legit way
right,
and do it the legit way. I used to not know that there was a legit way. I grew up without a mama and a daddy. I'd have found out the hard way what it was like getting locked up, not having nobody put any money on my books. I had to figure out what that was like, and I had to do that enough
mm,
times to the point where I was like, okay, I'm done doing this. And then I
right,
ended up getting shot, and I'm like, man, God must be trying to talk to me because He's trying to get my attention. And like I said, I went through this shooting. And I got through every single bit of it, God put it on my heart, man, that bad days will always come, but just stick with it, cause them good days right around the corner.
right,
They right around the corner.
right around the
I'm
corner.
talking about as soon as you feel like you're gonna give up, that's as soon as your blessing is gonna come.
Mm.
Literally.
So is there anything else you would like to say, to the youth, to the parents? Because see, it's hard when, my oldest daughter on here, Sharia, what's up? And everyone that
What's
joined
up?
us tonight, thank you so
Thank
much.
y'all for joining.
Yeah, and and my daughter had a massive heart attack, and even that still took some out of us, and have someone
Hmm.
deliberately come up to take a child from you, to take a father from you, to take a mother from a child, deliberately
Hmm.
pull the trigger. What would
Right.
you say to them? Because even like your sister, I maybe I should have had a segment where she came on, because to that feeling of getting that phone call is like,
And you know what she told me? They called. So when I got shot, it was probably 8 o'clock at night, and I was shot in the lung as well as the diaphragm, so I could not speak. I couldn't talk. They were trying to ask me what my name was. I couldn't tell them. I ended up writing my sister's number down, and they called her. And I won't ever forget, Brittany told me, she said she was at Walgreens or something and they called her. She had a panic attack. They was like,
Mm,
we have your brother up here at the hospital. He's been shot. She was like, no, he hadn't. She was like, nah, he ain't been shot. He ain't gonna get shot. And it was like Brandon Fisher. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, we got him here. He got shot twice. He got shot in the stomach and in the chest. And she called my Aunt Chris, my other mom. She called her and she was like trying to talk my sister down because my sister was panicking. She was just panicking and panicking. And I won't ever forget, she walked in the door, man. She said the look on my face, like I was shell shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that I looked, I just looked like I was scared, like because I was. I mean, in all actuality, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
right.
And you don't ever know what's gonna happen till you get in that situation. That's why I'm so happy I got a chance to be on here and just tell the youth before you put yourself in that situation, think about it.
Think
Just
about
think about it. Is it the let it weigh out the pros and the cons. The pros gonna outweigh the cons because if it ain't, then why would you even go through with it? You know. Um, but yeah, one thing that if I could tell a family's going through a traumatic experience, be there for that person. Even though it's tough and you feel like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders, be there for that person because my sister was there for me and she's there for all my family, the little family that we do got mess with. She's there for all of them. And if she wouldn't have been there for me, I can't even say I'd be here today speaking on this podcast.
it. Mm,
So, that made the biggest difference. Then this might go with like an old auntie that you got, a grandma, whatever. You might, she might be on hospice care or whatever. And man, go and check on that lady and
mm,
let her know you love her, and that you appreciate her. It don't matter if you spend 5, 10 minutes with her out the day. Go and do that. Cause it's gonna mean the world to her. And then when she's gone, you're gonna be wishing you would have done it.
right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a pause right here because I see we have some people. Thank y'all so much. I don't want to mess your name up, Thomas and Bryce and
Yeah, shout
y'all and
out
Miss
Bryce.
Holly.
That's another IBW worker. That's my brother.
Hey,
He held me down
IBW
too.
worker, what's
Yeah.
going on? So if y'all have any questions, I will post them up here so it makes sure he'll see it. If y'all see me looking, I got a screen over here, down here, and over here, just as so I won't miss anything. So if y'all have any questions for Brandon or um any comments that you may want to say, any prayer, that you want to give him before we get off, because I sure appreciate you coming and spending this time with us because this is transparency at its best. Because a lot of people don't like talk about it because it still has what the people would say, I would say residue.
Yeah.
And in order to talk about it, there has to be healing that takes other than the fistula, other than the chest wounds, and
Mm-hmm.
the scars are still visible on the body, but people don't
Mm-hmm.
talk about the scars that's on the heart.
Cause I won't lie to you. I'd be lying if I said that they would go away. I just learned how to cope with them,
Mm,
and I learned how to not let it just dwell on my heart. And with the situation, like I know it's plenty of moms, dads out there, they sons, daughters even done died to gun violence, and what I will tell you, as hard as it is, and I'm working on it myself, but you got to learn how to forgive that person because if you don't, you're going to forever have the weight of the world on your shoulders.
mm,
You know, you're going to have to do one or two things. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to end up wanting to forgive the person because you don't want to walk down that path like it's hard to come back from. It's hard to
it
come
is.
back from.
It is. It is.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for coming on. Oh, let me say this too. Hold on, we got a comment. Make sure I don't miss anyone. Oh, Bryce said, "Proud of you, brother. You made it a
Appreciate
long
it.
way."
Yeah, yeah. He's been
Yeah,
he's been there through the whole thing. He's been there through the whole thing. We was out there working at Ford when I got shot, and he heard about it, and he came and seen me in the hospital. He's done came to my house, checked in on me plenty of times, just showed plenty of love. I mean, he's family.
yeah,
That's
that's
family.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. But let me throw this out here just in case y'all didn't know. Brandon from the MISSISSIPP. I'm just putting it
Yeah.
out there. I'm just gonna
Crooked
go and
little,
put that
crooked
out
little.
there. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go and put he originally from right here in Mississippi. Shout out to
Hmm.
Greenville and
Greenville,
Jackson, you know.
Jackson,
Y
Hattiesburg,
yeah,
601,
but he was
662.
he was he was born right here in Mississippi, so
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
he can go on over visit across the
Yeah.
county line.
601. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't
Six
nothing
zero
wrong
one
with
six
that.
six two 769. It's okay.
Okay then. Okay
We'll
then.
let them. We'll let them visit. But
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, and stay behind backstage, and I'll be right back with you. If
Okay.
there anything else you want to say? Shout out to anyone.
Shout out to Bryce. Shout out to Chris Fisher, Nelba Thomas, Brittany Fisher. That's my sister, Jessica Fisher. And yeah, man, both my nieces, Zola and Nevaeh, man. I love y'all. Y'all my life. And we gonna keep doing this. We gonna
Right.
keep doing this. So
My daughter say I can tell by
yeah,
the
that
accent.
accent, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I get
thank
people
you.
ask me that all the time. They say, "Where are you from?" Because I'm
Mm,
here in Memphis, but they'll pick up on my accent and be like, "Where you from?" And I'm like, "I'm
mhm.
from Mississippi." I can tell. I can tell. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
from
cause can't nobody
Jackson.
say Mississippi like
I'm telling you,
Mississippi. Yeah.
Mississippi. Yep. The
Well,
silk.
thank you so much.
I
Stay behind
appreciate
the
you.
stage. I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandon, for being transparent. Your courage and your faith really has touched the heart of our listeners. Your story reminds us that even after tragedy, healing and purpose is still possible. Gun violence is a tragic crisis here, not just here in the United States. I mean, even abroad. That is just something, y'all, we really got to pray about. We are not powerless. We can support the survivors, advocate for safe communities, and build network of faith and mental health. And people ask me, why did I have October Mental Health Month? Because I do things differently. And I don't just think of mental health for as having uh diagnosis with schizophrenia, PTSD, stuff like no, mental health is anything that comes against the mental mind that God has given you. He said, be anxious for nothing but through prayer and supplication, make your requests known with thanksgiving. So anxiety is a big thing for people. He said, do not be double-minded, right? That's a form of schizophrenia. Everything you need is in the word. So, to our listeners, if you or someone you know is struggling after trauma, don't walk alone. Reach out for help. If you are in a crisis, call 988. It's the suicide and crisis hotline, and seek local trauma informed counselors. Pray, read that word, seek his faith. I'm telling you, he will answer your prayers. Find a community, stay connected, and by all, relax in God, rest your mind, because you do matter to more people than you think. And remember, every story shared bring healing, every prayer spoken invite power. Every life spared is a testimony of God's grace and mercy. Don't just be inspired today. Take action like Brandon said. Get up, choose to live even after trauma, whether it's divorce, whether you lost your job in this governmental shutdown, whether you dealing with had abuse of any kind or deal with GSW in your life. Get up and make the choice to live. Share this episode, start a conversation about ending gun violence, support survivors in our community, and let's be a light in a dark place. Y'all, for always, and remember, we are on this journey together. Thank you.